Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Siriana Tarot. This is going to be a reading for April 30th, 2020. This is a reading for the collective for all signs, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. We're going to go ahead and invite spirit, angels, ancestors, loved ones who have passed, and our spirit guides to this space to deliver the messages that we need to hear for April 30th, 2020. Messages for the collective, April 30th, 2020. Nice. Oh. Wow, so this reading is like night and day. So let's go ahead and take a look at your overall energy. Is the Eight of Wands. This is Leo, Aries, Sag energy. The Eight of Wands, when it's in the upright, can represent things really picking up speed. It can be rapid communication, messages. It's also my card of Law of Attraction. But when it's in the reverse, it's really telling me that it could be that communication has come to a halt. Now, this can be communication with someone. It can also be feeling like your communication, whether that's through prayer or receiving messages, is for some reason blocked, or there's some sort of blockage. That could be anything. When we can't sit down and concentrate, when you're meditating or when you're praying, if you can't seem to quiet the noise, it could be anything like that, to literally blocking someone on social media, or not being able to talk to someone. Underneath there we do have the Five of Pentacles. This is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy. It's Taurian in particular, and we're going to see a lot of Taurus energy lately, not only because we're in Taurus season, but also because Mercury also just moved into Taurus. And remember, Mercury rules communication and that sort of thing. So really, maybe communicating about what your needs are. And somebody here might not be able to, for some reason, communicate what they need, either at work or in a relationship. Someone might be, in need of help, but they can't quite figure out how to ask for it. It could also be that somebody in your surroundings wants to help you, but they just don't know how. So it might be time to sort of break the glass that's between the two of you. All right, Two of Swords, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy. I love this full moon energy. We will have a full moon in Scorpio coming up. The Two of Swords is all about needing also protection in the material world and in the psychic realms. So really doing work to sort of pull back, but also to defend yourself. And she's wearing she's wearing a blindfold, so she's sort of quieting the noise. She's pulling back from whatever situation. She doesn't want to engage in whatever's going around her, and especially some sort of argument. And there's a certain amount of tension on this card. Underneath there, we do have the Six of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy. It could be some sort of reunion. You could have been waiting for a reunion that didn't happen. It could have to do with your children. It could have to do with soulmate energy. It could also be, somebody here needs to bring a little bit of childlike wonder back into their relationship or into their daily lives or what have you. Now, these first two cards, I absolutely love them. These second two cards, not so much. So this is like really split right down the middle, this energy in this reading. The first card out is the Sun. This is Leo energy. This is about positivity. This is about stepping out of the shadows, celebration, co-creation, optimism, strength. This is your time to shine and letting it shine. And I love the fact that we have these two babies here holding hands. Again, another sort of and right here at the bottom, we see the Six, and we saw that Six of Cups and the overall energy. So for some of you, this is like the reunion. This is somebody from your past, a twin flame or a soulmate energy. Remember, soulmates don't always have to be romantic in nature. They can represent pets. They can represent family members. They can represent best friends. They can also be lovers, life partners, what have you. And then we have the Three of Cups. The Three of Cups is a reunion. So this is happiness. This is celebration. There's some huge, major celebration going on here. The Three of Cups is, being satiated. You can see she's got all of the food and drink that she could want. She's very comfortable. She's happy. I feel like she's, serving at a wedding reception, or, it's just this really wonderful, celebratory, joyous event that's going on. Now, then on this side of the reading, and sort of more towards our outcome, I feel like this happiness and this optimism and this celebration is at risk. And it could be, it could be the two sides of yourself. I mean, if we do look at these two babies, one of them is sort of light, one of them is dark. If we're just looking at their hair color, or, so it could be balancing the shadow and the light. And here we have the light, and here we have a lot of shadow energy. Now, remember with the Two of Swords, it's sort of an interesting message that I was picking up here, which I don't normally read it that way, but it's the need to protect yourself mentally and in material world, or in some material fashion. So really going over, your finances, any sort of communications that you're receiving. I'm getting, also with, in Mercury and Gemini, remember Mercury is all about communication and swords are all about communication. So being able to express your needs, right? And not just basic needs, but they could be the needs that you have in a relationship, or maybe you need support or organization, whatever it might be. So I really am picking up on that this does have to do with this mercurial energy that's taking place. Now, the Page of Swords, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, both of these energies represent that. You might have that in your chart. You might be dealing with somebody exhibiting those qualities or with these signs in their chart. And the Page of Swords in reverse is so usually a card of spying, or somebody who is, I feel like, this is like really kind of like, it's somebody who is not being forthright, doing something clandestine, having to do with communication. So it could be something that's going on behind your back, or it could be that somebody that's paying particular attention to what you're doing, what you're saying, your finances, your relationships, and that sort of thing. And there's a negative connotation to it. Now, it could also be that you're not communicating, you're not being forthright again, or your communicating your needs or your wants or your desires. You're not doing that in the way that you should. And like when the Pages and the Knight of Swords are in reverse, it's kind of like somebody who's not in control, somebody who's lost focus. They've forgotten why they're doing what they're doing, and it sort of ends up being, it's this energy of like, it's this chaos, because they're both wielding these swords, but it's more of like not being in control and just sort of reacting to the things that are happening around you. And so sort of like swinging this sword wildly. So maybe not really saying what you mean or meaning what you say. And the Knight of Swords is like, this is where this energy becomes abusive, like verbally or mentally. This is somebody who's lost focus. Again, they don't remember why they're doing what they're doing, but they're focused on a singular outcome. But if they were, you or they or whoever this might be, if they were to step back, see that, oh, like, I don't even want to do this. I just got so wrapped up in the argument or in doing, X, Y, and Z, that I kind of lost, my focus, and it's not really quite aligned with who I am. Okay, so you guys can take this however it resonates. So let's go ahead. I'm going to pull some Psychic Tarot for additional messages. This is an interesting reading. It may also deal with somebody that you blocked. And I feel like releasing this energy has brought you a lot of, joy and a lot of happiness, and just sort of this feeling of like, I'm seeing the Ten of Wands in reverse, like a big sigh of relief, being happy that there is no communication with this person. But I feel like, this energy here is kind of brewing, and they're not so happy about it if it deals with you and another person. again, it could always be two parts of yourself. You know, you can, this reading, you know, when I talk about energies, it can be vice versa. It could be you, it could be them, or it could also be a part of you finding that internal balance. Look at that. You get the Six of Cups. For some of you, this might be somebody that's trying to return to your life, somebody that either that you have no communication with. I feel like some of you may have moved on. You know, the swords, especially when I see the king or the queen of swords, can sometimes refer to exes, but they're not kings and queens here. They're pages and knights. So it's an energy that's not quite developed. It could be somebody here too. It could be somebody who's more childlike, somebody who wasn't maybe willing to step up and take responsibility. I mean, that could be the reason why you guys aren't in communication. I do feel like, you know, there is a sense of nostalgia attached to this. It could be a soulmate, somebody you thought was a twin flame. But don't, I'm kind of like, I just got this message, but like, don't let that fool you, or don't trust your intuition on this one. Like, if you feel better because this situation, this energy is out of your, you know, not in your energy field, is not in your life, then you need to really go with that. And then you get foundation and achievements. Wow. So this is the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands card for me is my 1111. It's my twin flame card. It's about being grateful for everything that you have. For some of you, it's being grateful that this energy, again, is no longer in your life, and doing what's necessary to sort of keep that negative energy out of your life. Because I feel like for some of you, you've moved on, or you're healing and you're moving on, you're happy. You might have met somebody else if this is a romantic situation. Again, it could have been a job, or it could be any situation, but you know, that you sort of, that it's better that you stay away from. Again, you know, making sure that your needs are met. You know, the Five of Pentacles is a feeling of lack, of isolation, of not having enough. And, you know, the Four of Wands, that's having more than enough. This comes after the Three of Wands, like your ships have come in and now it's that time to celebrate. So I do feel like there could be some sort of jealousy or envy around you. Again, it could be that you're experiencing this as well. Okay. But I'm getting that you've worked really hard. Yeah. And look at that. Then we get the shadow card, this moon energy. You know, and the moon is all about, again, what I was picking up on the sun. So we have the sun and the moon. So we have the light and we have the dark. Some of you need to do your own internal shadow work, because, you know, despite maybe being grateful for having, you know, and being happy, there might be a side that you're ignoring, something that you haven't been addressing, some shadow work that you need to do. It could come from, you know, past hurts and disappointments, either in, you know, material success, work, romantic relationships within your family. Okay, it could be many different things, but the shadow side is there's like a real need for balance. Could be that others of you are operating, or you guys are dealing with somebody who's operating more in their shadow side, and you're sort of more operating in the light. And so Spirit's saying, you know, this is like a really disparate energy. I mean, it's like, it is sort of like night and day here. For some of you, I feel like you've moved on, you've found this balance, but then I also feel with the Knight of Swords and the Page of Swords in reverse communication, somebody might be trying to be deceptive, somebody might be hiding something from you. Okay, and I feel like it's this underlying, like something that might undermine this happiness that we're seeing here with the Sun and the Three of Cups. It could be also somebody sort of being deceptive about a reunion. You know, again, I feel like somebody in your energy field could be operating out of envy, like maybe telling you things because secretly they're jealous of what the success that you're having, whether this is in a relationship or, you know, financial or what have you. Okay, it could be somebody from your past. Okay, but there's a real need to be discerning here. So really, you know, trust your intuition, you guys. Okay, really, really trust your intuition regarding this situation and or this person. For some of you, it's not going to be somebody else. It's just, you know, a part of us. And doing shadow work is never easy, but it's really necessary. All right. These are, what's the name of these? These are Heal Yourself reading cards. Whoop. And we get Beauty. 17 breaks down to an 8. That's really nice. So make sure, I feel like some of you too, maybe you've been on like an upward swing, like physically. Again, remember what's going on in the inside is etched on the outside. And I do feel like, that there might be some people who are a little bit jealous of you, of this transformation that you've gone through, or this glow up, again, or it could be the shadow side of yourself that that doesn't want to believe that you're making these changes, or doesn't see the beauty in yourself when you look in the mirror. I mean, that's really possible too, but Spirit's saying it's time for you to shine, and it's time for you to recognize just how beautiful you really are. And I love, again, here her third eye is activated there. Okay, and she's got those peacock feathers in her hair. Let it shine. You're beautiful. Don't let anybody dim your light. I mean, this sun energy, this is very, it's very Leo energy. It's fire energy. It's here I am, and this is what I've created, and expressing your creativity. And it's being the center of attention, and allow for that. And sometimes, if we haven't been feeling that way for a long time, we might have to deal with our own shadow side that's telling us like, oh, don't do that. That's not the way you're supposed to behave, or, don't dress that way. We can be hard on ourselves as well. Okay, and then you get entrapment, number 34. So I'm going to read for you guys this one, because this entrapment is, again, this energy. If you're dealing with somebody else, I really feel like with this moon energy, there's some deception going on, or there's some secrets, because somebody, and again, it could be yourself, so I don't want you to sit there and get really paranoid. You'll know if I'm talking about somebody that you're inquiring about. Like, you'll know right away. So I don't want you to go around and start looking for people that might be bringing you this energy, or might be being deceptive. You're going to know right away. For others of us, it's going to be the shadow side of ourselves, and we see that here. Okay, so I'm going to read for you guys this entrapment, and it is, you have drawn this card because it's time for a shift in personal power. Yeah, some of you might have also been giving your power away to somebody, or really letting the naysayers create anxiety, create confusion, sort of stop you, sort of hold you back. Okay, and like, because there's this confusion, which is actually, whether it's knowingly or not, it's manipulation that's meant to sort of keep you in a certain place. Okay. You're encouraged to take responsibility for your life and choose new ways of thinking to create change. The reality is that for you to make the changes you want, need, and desire, you need a system, daily discipline, and motivation. As long as you blame outside influences for any circumstances in your life, you are powerless. It's the government, your abusive background, the interest rates, and the bank's fault. The system that many ultra successful people use is they read books every day, listen to audios, go to as many seminars as they can, practice recognizing others' achievements, and form relationships with like-minded people. Yeah, again, so this very well could be your energy, but it also, again, the message I'm getting, it very well could be another energy that is affecting you. Okay, and so it's time for you to recognize your own achievements. Okay, and be proud, and let it shine. Stand in the sun, you guys. I know a lot of you are doing the work, and you guys really deserve this. Deserve happiness, abundance. So don't let anyone or anything tell you differently. Final message for the collective, April 30th, 2020. You get Aphrodite, self-love. I am not surprised, you guys. I am not surprised. Some of you have gone through a major makeover, glow up. You've been taking this time in quarantine to really work on your physical selves. For others of you, it's you're working on your inner selves. So it's like that beauty from the inside. It's just radiating to the outside. I love this. This is beautiful. Aphrodite's about fun. She's about play. She's about, making love. She's about you know, she's about romantic love coming into focus. So for some of you, this very much, you know, I do have my twin flame, my soulmate cards coming out here, especially with the sun card, with those two babies, you know, holding each other. You know, they're mirrors of each other, and we see it again here in the shadow. We see that light and that dark. Whoops, sorry, I kicked the camera. All right, so Aphrodite needs little introduction. She's in, you know, she's in a lot of different, she shows up in Greek mythology all over the place. While her goddess of romantic love is well known, her primary lesson is one of self-love. Aphrodite shows us that we are born perfectly lovable and ready to accept our own beautiful selves. And if you guys are dealing with a partner or somebody in your life, it could be in the past, but they are showing up like you're still going to have to deal with this energy. It could be also, you know, something that you learned, like you somewhere along the line you learned or you felt that you weren't lovable or that you weren't good enough. Okay, and it could be you dealing with your own shadow self here. She shows that we're born perfectly lovable and ready to accept our own beautiful selves. She encourages the development of love from the inside out rather than from the outside in. This way, we do not rely on anyone to give us our sense of self-worth or self-esteem. And I feel like this energy here, if it relates to somebody else in this reading for you, that they might have been making you feel that way and purposefully sort of saying things, you know, like gaslighting, manipulating. Okay, so I don't like to have, you know, sort of like a negative reading, but I do have to tell you guys what the messages I'm receiving. This way, we do not rely on anyone to give us our sense of self-worth or self-esteem. We know we are worth it. Without a healthy love of self, we reduce our personal power, often falling into petty jealousies, judging our bodies, and numbing our minds. That's this Page of Swords and Knight of Swords in reverse energy. Okay, so I love this reading for you guys because, you know, I feel like it's bringing to light some important shadow work or relationships that need to be addressed at this time. So I know it's not always easy, but I also know that you guys out there are doing the work and you're pushing forward and you're healing. And remember that it's a constant process. It never happens overnight. And, you know, we're in this continuous process of learning and growing and healing. So I'm really proud of you and I love you guys so much. And I just want to thank you for being on this journey with me. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, comment, share, ring that notification bell. But most of all, I want to thank you for all the love and support, and I hope you have an absolutely beautiful day. Take care.